Good morning and welcome. I'm Adam and this is our front garden installation renovation. We took out an old dying 40-year-old yew hedge and replaced that with some topiaries, grasses, perennials, thousands of bulbs, and it's really been a transformation. It's winter, but we'll go back to the video now and really see what those blooms are going to look like and really how it's going to pop this spring. So here you go. So this is the overgrown front of the house. We've got two beds, one on the left, one on the right. Both absolutely covered in weeds and strawberries, really. We've got the blushing Incredibles and limelights back here, almost completely covered by this white Rosa Sharon, and the overgrown weeping peach with one rose and some irises in the very back. So this needs to all be cleaned up. We've actually got some oak leaf hydrangeas, I think they're ruby slippers down here, that are really first year plants, and you can't even see them. So these will need to be transplanted, and we're going to put some bigger, more specimen plants that are established in here. We tried to do the peonies around the edge. The roots are just so small that they're really going to take several years to become anything. So we're going to tighten up the entryway here. Maybe the lemon lace elderberry will look good against that purple weeping peach, but we'll figure out what to do on this side and around the edge here. We've got the same weed problem, partly because of this ground yellow jacket nest that just continues to just get bigger almost. I've treated this thing 5 times. Different homemade and commercial products won't kill it, so it's really hard to weed back here. I'm gonna go ahead and start over on this side and get it cleaned up for what we've got in the trailer, so we'll show you that in a minute. But it's pretty bad. So here is the biomass that I just pulled out of this one small section, and I think I'm going to leave the Rosa Sharon for now. It'll probably come out, but you can see kind of where I tried to plant some ruby slipper oak leaf hydrangeas, and got a little poison ivy there, a couple more back there, one there, but they're just not going to be where we want everything to be, and we've got some larger plants, like I said. So we're going to go ahead and take these up, transplant them, and then we'll finish this bed off and mulch it, make sure the drip is going to the right place first, and then see how it looks. But a little trick on how I've been weeding is my grandpa's paring knife, actually from who knows when, and I remembered, or I learned actually learned this from watching my father-in-law weed a huge swath over there where we had a lot of rocks and had this this stuff coming up. But a trick to getting that weeded at the root level is just to use an old knife and cut down, kind of scoop down under that root, and hopefully enough of it was cut to kill that plant at the root level. And you see how I've tried to get that pulled up just by pulling the leaves, and they didn't come, left the stalk there. If I use that knife, it chops that root, and hopefully we did enough damage with the knife to kill that plant. So I've got a few more here that were just really too small to grab. So I'm going to take that knife and just trench under all of these, hopefully, and did some damage to all of these roots. So that's quite a bit of weed that comes up really effortlessly. So, and hopefully that discourages the plant from really putting any energy into growing there. So like I said, we're not using chemicals on any of this stuff, so this is really what we're gonna end up with. Hopefully the mulch just suppresses a lot of that stuff, and any of the rhizomes that are spreading we'll pull, or we'll cut up with a knife, and hopefully they just die out over time. So next on, plants and mulch. So I did try to start weeding this already, and I forgot that we need the before shot. So obviously I'm gonna attack this one next. This is the right side, or the northeast side of the property, and we tried to make a bed last year, planted some incredibles. We got a few roses, we got a nice prairie fire apple tree, really old lilacs that are really on the chopping block. Probably going to take those out at some point, but I'm not too impressed with these incredibles. We should have cut them earlier. They look really good when they first bloom, kind of like this guy, and they stay up, and unlike the Annabelle. So I like that part of them. I want them to be more compact, but we've got all of these weeds that are coming up, and I really want that blue hedge of the endless summer hydrangea, the blue hedge of that. We think we want to try that here in the front. So I need to get all of these weeds out of here, and kind of dance around the plants that we've already got in here. We've got a Zinfandel here. Our peonies need to be cleaned up, and just stuff like that. So I'm gonna dance around this ground wasp, or ground yellow jacket nest, hopefully. But they are impervious to anything I've done so far. They just come out of that crack, and like I said, I've treated them 5 times with various products. Nothing seems to work, so I'm probably gonna stay away from that area and clean this up. We've got a vanilla strawberry back there that I was hoping would be a specimen plant for that corner of the house, so we'll see how it goes. So this is the after shot of about an hour of weeding. We've got some plants we can actually tell apart now. We've got the Zinfandel, some kind of rose I forget, and then the Incrediballs in the front. I think the blushing Incrediballs in the back. So still need to clean up this area, but the bindweed is just no joke here. We've got, I actually thought it was a joke at first and laughed when I saw it blooming across the back somewhere, but if you look at this, it's just a mess of vines, and they're wrapped around hydrangeas, everything. This whole hydrangea is weighted down because it's stuck to the ground from bindweed. And obviously the yellow jackets are right behind me, but are right behind this, but if I pull it off, they're actually able to support themselves a little bit. But this was a mistake this year, and I won't let it happen again. But I honestly think I need to spray, because I need to find some kind of spray for this, because the roots, I've got landscape fabric down, and the roots were twisted so much that I think they're going everywhere, and there's just no way to get all of those from coming back up. So I think I'm gonna have to find some type of organic spray that works on bindweed. So we'll see how that goes. You can actually tell the plants apart, and I think next is we're just gonna start putting the holes where we're gonna put the endless summer hydrangeas and really fill in some of these gaps. This is the second year for these quart size hydrangeas, so they grew up, but we'll chop them back and hopefully they'll spread out a bit, but we want something to kind of fill in these spaces, and then we'll mulch in between. So we'll see what happens with that next. But I'm gonna get these ruby slippers up. I think there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably a 6th one back there. I'm gonna get these repotted and put in maybe a nursery garden for a while, for a year or two, and then we'll start making our holes and figure out where we're going to put some of the new larger landscape ready plants. So here's the cache of ruby slipper oak leaf hydrangeas that we're just going to save in a nursery bed until they're actually ready to put in the landscape. So pulled those up here. I think we had six or seven more, but they died. Obviously they were just plugs that we put in the spring, and we can save those for later. So we're going to start putting holes in after we clean this up, get these watered, and figure out what we want to fill this bed with. So good morning. We've got a big morning planned here. We're going to transform the front yard, actually, unplanned, and by doing so we're going to get all of this into the front beds. The blank slate in the front yard was pretty rough. We've got some video of that showing the ewes being cut out, but all of this was the ewes that were either diseased or just too old. And we've got about 16 original hydrangeas and some limelights and a few other things that we're going to plant in as a hedge, and 6 of these large miscanthus grasses and a few other grasses back here that are much smaller. But we're going to go ahead and leave the incredibles and some of the stuff by the bee's nest in the ground over here before we can eradicate that. But really all of this is going to be smoothed out, and this big lilac's going to come out. It's just not it's just kind of an eyesore. It doesn't bloom. We've got another, if we trim it down, we've got to wait 2 more years to get bloom. So we're going to take that out, and we have a weeping redbud we're going to replace that with. Over here we're going to kind of just mirror the other side with some hydrangeas on the side. Hopefully that'll kind of cascade towards the front, and hopefully we'll get that in before it gets too much hotter. We've got some limelights over there by the white rose of Sharon and the weeping peach tree. We'll probably leave the front drift of lavender, maybe put a few more in. But over here we've got the stock of 4-gallon pots of hydrangeas, the large weeping redbud. I've just found out what these were maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago. I took the picture obviously, but so that's gonna be a pretty small specimen plant that we'll have right at the beginning of our walkway, and then maybe some type of a conifer or something for some winter interest there. But we've got the prairie fire crabapple, so really we've got kind of a pink vision here, I guess. More of a blue purple guy, but a lot of these can be changed to blue if we change the pH of the soil. So some of these hydrangeas are rescue hydrangeas, so all of this is budget friendly. We got the deal at the Costco, scooped up the $20 4-gallon pots, $15 grasses, and these giant hydrangeas were marked down pretty big. The same with the limelights. These are part of the hospital section at the nursery, so I picked those up at about, I think those were maybe $14. So all this is pretty budget conscious. And we've got the big blue stem. I like the purple, like I said, and the way, just learned this from Bill, the way you can tell it's blue stem or big blue stem is the turkey foot at the top. You've got the three prongs, just like a turkey feet, more evident on this guy. But we're gonna get those in. Hopefully that'll kind of pop against that white and variegated green, I think, miscanthus grass. And then we've got an Apache rose from Proven Winners here. That's about a 48-inch plant, so we'll figure out where this goes. So we've got a white Jella here that reblooms. It's obviously reblooming after I trimmed it back a lot. Might get that in there, and then the lemony lace elderberry, which doesn't look great now, but will look pretty good against the black lace if I can find a place to put these. These need to be in partial sun. Obviously this the front yard here is just blasted with the morning to afternoon sun, so we'll see how they do. I'm just gonna put 2 in for now and leave the rest probably for the back, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start putting these in and just see how things go. I'll probably just put the pots in the holes that I've already dug, see how they look, and probably dig some more holes, take that lilac out, and keep everything nice and watered. It's only in the 80s today, but the sun here just blasts the whatever you're doing in the front yard. So I've got my my wet rag to keep on my neck, and hopefully we'll stay nice and hydrated. So looks like some help just arrived, so we'll see how much they want to do in the sun. Yeah, he's nice. One more thing to add here in the front, I've got the I've redone the drip, so we've got fresh line going all the way through, kind of around and looping back and around the back. So we'll remark where our drips are going to go, and everything is pretty well covered by that main pipe. Those smaller tubes emit just a little less water than you would think, so I want to make sure that pipe is going to really all of the large specimen plants that we're going to put in, and so I just redid that, and I went just a little bit further so we can add to the bed down there down the road. So you can always splice in, but just trying to think ahead. So that's 100 feet of irrigation hose right there. So I think I'm going to plant or get the hydrangeas in, see how everything looks here on this side, see what's left, and work on that other side. Over here I've got just 6 holes dug, so I think we'll go short hydrangeas, grass, and then larger original hydrangeas. And I think the short ones are the bloom struck, so everything can be a pink or a blue. And they're the endless summer type, so they're gonna bloom all summer, as opposed to the limelights and the incredibles. Incredibles, I think you just need to trim earlier, take these heads off because they just look gross. And limelights, of course, are the biggest and best you can get, so they'll be a larger specimen. Not too sure about the weeping peach here, but I planted it. It's obviously gotten big, and it's probably too big. I think a nice slender conifer is probably gonna end up going there, but whether I pull that out or not, I'll wait till it's dormant at least and figure out what to do then. But I think it's gonna be too big for this spot.
Water. It's even heavier. Lift with your back.
buddy mode now.
What do you think? Which way do you think?
Dad, let's do buddy mode.
Kind of tilts this way. You want it to pour that way?
No, you want it to tilt this way, not towards the walkway.
You don't want to see the back of it, do you?
Well, you don't want it tilting towards the house.
Why? It cascades this way. All right, buddy, come here.
Okay.
We didn't really think about getting it out of a pot.
Go take the pot from Daddy, please.
Thanks, bud.
Oh, short.
It's too short.
Hey. Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be pretty.
What do you think? That way? Till turn it more?
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not... Does it look straight, actually?
Now it does.
That one's in the way. There, one. There, oh. So I think this is the final dry fitting for the hydrangeas. I made a few substitutions over here to make sure everything kind of flowed better on that drift. But here at the entrance we've got two of the variegated grasses that are going to be about 5 foot tall, and one of the original hydrangeas just in front of that, and that's going to kind of mirror what's going on this side with all original hydrangeas for the endless summer. So in front of this we've got the bloomstruck, two of them, a little bit shorter, so I thought that would look better in the front. And then stepping up to the limelights, we've already got 1, 2, 3 limelights, so I put 4 and 5 in, and we've got an incredible in the back and a few incredibles in the front. So I think that'll kind of, I don't know, homogenize and go together at some point, maybe in a year or two, but a little bit better look, I think. So everything's going to be kind of a white look for quite a bit, and then when the hydrangea or when the limelights start changing, they'll get this pinkish tone to them, and these will be colorful, kind of like the endless summers. And I think we're going to try to change those to blue. I think that's a more acidic soil. I could have that backwards, but here we've got all endless summers, and a little bit too tight, but that's kind of the way I like it. So we're gonna wrap around here, kind of horseshoeing around this weeping redbud that we've got. I couldn't cut the lilac all the way. I'm gonna see if that pops up a little bit. It's probably gonna be too busy, but we'll see. So going around, we've got I don't know, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 of the endless summers here. Behind that we've got the Incredibles and a few of them interspersed here, so we'll get the drip going once these are planted in. But I didn't water these really at all this summer, so hoping next summer they bounce back. But the Incredibles did pretty well. The bindweed pulled a lot of them down and just kind of ruined the look after a while, but hopefully next summer we'll keep those weeded a little bit better. But I think this colorful hedge will pop next to this kind of crimson, I think it's a prairie fire crab apple. So just going around, we've got the 2 sick patients that we picked up. These are larger original these are original endless summers, but they were larger and they were returned to the nursery. So the nursery tried to bring them back, and they, I think, decided to just cut their losses and sell them at a discount. So I got these pretty cheap, and we're gonna have the grasses there, and maybe we've got 3 more grasses. We'll figure out what would work. I think maybe right there would be nice, going down the middle between those windows, but we'll see. And then in the back we've got a black lace elderberry. I don't know if this is going to be too much sun for it, but that's going to be 8 to 10 foot tall, 5 to maybe 8 inch or 8 foot wide. So that'll kind of be a nice screen for a pretty ugly burning bush. But that's kind of what we've got so far. We'll get them planted in and get the mulch in, and hopefully we'll have something to look nice for a month or 2 before winter sets in. So here is our final product. We've got the hydrangea hedge, which we're going to try to go with blue next year, but we'll see how that goes. And starting off, we've got one of these spiral arborvitae topiaries, one of 4 that we've added. And this is the east side, so we're going to have that kind of start the front bed. Back here we've got the black lace elderberry, 5 to 8 feet, and then we've got a grass. It's like a Japanese miscanthus, I think, to kind of add some vertical there. Interspersed between that and the original hydrangeas in the front, we've got Incredibles, which are I think mostly white. There might be a few of the blush ones, but they are the Annabelle hydrangea that doesn't bend over. So in the back we've got a I can't remember what kind of rose that is, but this prairie fire crab apple is probably my favorite, and it's got lots of winter interest for the apples that stay on. I think some animals are going to eat those, but they'll stay most of the season. So, but the berm of hydrangeas that are looks like they came with a higher pH soil in them, but we're going to try to bump that down and hopefully they'll be blue next year, so we'll see. I did have a spot here with an Incredible that I missed with the originals, so I stuck a twist and shout, which is kind of like the Bloomstruck, so it's a little smaller, but it almost has a purple bud system in bloom, so really cool. Did take out the big lilac that was about 180 years old, so I left one trunk just to see if I can kind of turn that into a topiary type interesting thing next year. But the specimen here is really going to be the weeping red bud, so we'll see if I can keep my third attempt at a red bud alive. And we've still got bees. Bothered him. At the front entrance, we've got two of the spiral arborvitaes, so that is kind of going to be the big change this year. I had grass in there, I took that out because we wanted to have these be more symmetrical. They're pretty stiff, so they've got to be a pretty old tree. But we've got another black lace back here with the iris is in their second bloom. We got a lot of weeds still I need to take care of, but kind of as we turn around in the door on this side, we've got more of the blue iris, so hopefully the vertical is, I wanted something nice and skinny here. The weeping peach was a bit more of a monster than I thought when I planted that, but we'll just try to keep that trim back. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 limelights between the edge and the trees, and then on the other edge we've got one matching original, and then the two new guys are the Bloomstrucks. So these are going to be smaller than the original, but they have kind of a deeper color, which I like, and they have really neat foliage, which I really like. So I'm starting to even appreciate the foliage as much as the plants or the flowers. So in front of that, we've just got Munstead lavenders that we've scavenged from the yard in various spots. And then to cap it off, we're gonna have the bluestone patio, which we're getting ready to put in. But the last of the 4 arborvitaes is there, and that's kind of the picture. So much better than the awful yew hedge that was in here. Just right in front of, under the windows, all the way across the house. Real hideous hedge. So almost took out this white rose of Sharon, but I'm glad I didn't. So that about does it with the front hedge and the changed the flower beds here in the blank slate that we cut out from the front of the house. So we've got about 3 more beds that we're working on, hopefully before frost comes, so we can actually get some blooms in there and see what it'll look like next year. So until then, thanks for watching. Subscribe. We've got a few more videos coming out, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.